In a recent video, you saw me cast up a bunch of bullets from this MP 452-200 mold for my 1911. I cast up some hollow points, but I also cast up a bunch of these solid bullets that came out to about 225 grains. And today I'm going to get these loaded up and out to the range. In addition to these, I still have a few of these Lee 200 grain Tumbleweed semi-wad cutters left. I'm going to shoot a few of these as well. The plan is to shoot some of both bullet loaded up with 4.5 grains of unique. That should give me somewhere a little over 700 feet per second. And then I want to go back and shoot a few more of these Lee bullets with 6.3 grains of unique. Should put me about 950 feet per second. And then I'm going to ladder load with this MP bullet anywhere between 5.5 grains of unique all the way up to I think 6.3. So, I'm not going to show you the loading process. Let's just go ahead and get out to the range.
$718. $741. $749.
Thank you. Tell me I'm not blind. $743. $912. $962. $919. $948. $933. $930. $909. If the person has $953.
906. 951. 806. 882. 834. 32. 70. 861. 867. 862. 852. 864. 838. 869. 869. 907. 870. 922. 806. 868. 872. 913.
Too many rounds. Target. Everything gone.
I picked it up, kept it down range.
876. 953. 924. 878. 913.
Does she know where everything is?
No.
Maybe ask her.
924.
And then
969. 951. 959. 954. 981.
Well, as you saw, this Lee 200 grain tumble loop semi-wide cutter gave me no issues and shot fairly well with the 4.5 grains of E3. But with the 6.5 or 6.3 grains of unique, there were two that didn't quite go fully into battery. And for this MP bullet, shot around 20 or so with the 4.5 grains of E3, and there no issues as well. And then with the ladder loads unique, I did run into the few issues that you saw. I'll go ahead and put those numbers up here. Now, I don't have the numbers listed on this chart for the two loads with 4.5 grains of E3, but for the Lee 200 grain bullet with 4.5 grains of E3, I got an average of 729 feet per second with an extreme spread of 76 and a standard deviation of 19. And then the MP bullet was only 1 foot per second faster at 730 feet per second. It actually gave me the lowest extreme spread and standard deviation of the day. It had an extreme spread of 33 and a standard deviation of 11. With the Lee 200 grain bullet with 6.3 grains of unique, I averaged 946 feet per second with a spread of 81 and a deviation of 25. For my latter load of unique with the MP bullet, you can see things got a little weird there in the middle. I went from 5.5 grains of unique up to 6.7 grains. The blue line is the velocity, the gray line is the standard deviation, and the orange line is the extreme spread. And you can see the spread and the standard deviation really jumped there, right in the middle at 6.1 grains. If the blue line had trended the entire way like I think it should have, I expect that 6.1 grains unique would have given me about 915 to 920 feet per second, and then 6.3 would have given me 945 feet per second. This data is useful and I'm going to use it to develop loads in the future, but I'm about to make an adjustment so that's going to cause me to have to do a new ladder load and new test. Now I think one of the issues I'm probably running into, well, I've had a couple folks suggest that I polish the feed ramp on this, and I think before I go out next time I will do a very minor polish of the feed ramp. But I think one of the problems is that I may be loading this too long. I loaded this at 1.222 inches, and I think that's probably a result of my experience with rifle. I'm kind of in the mindset of seat the bullet as close to the rifling as you can to improve your accuracy. And I'm not sure that that fully applies to these handgun cartridges. So the next time I go out, I am going to load these shorter. This was 1.222, and when I go back out, I've taken that same bullet and loaded it to 1.172, and there's a noticeable difference there. And I am hoping that by seating this a little bit shorter, there was a couple rounds that when they didn't go fully into battery, I pulled them out. There was a slight mark in here, and I think it was just catching something in that chamber at the beginning of the rifling. And I'm hoping and fairly confident that this shorter overall length is going to fix that problem. I am going to have to go do some more tests with different levels of unique, because seating this bullet shorter is decreasing the case capacity, which means the same powder is going to have a little more pressure. So if these two were loaded with the same amount of powder, this one would have less case capacity. I'd expect a slightly higher velocity from this one. So the numbers I put up were useful. They were helpful, but I'm going to have to do some continued testing with this shorter round. One, to see if it feeds, and then two, to see if the load that I choose is giving me the right velocity. So that's it for today. I appreciate you enduring all of the video of this thing just firing over and over and over again. Today was about shooting for velocity and function, not so much precision. So it mostly functioned, but when we're talking a defensive firearm or something like this, functioning most of the time is not good enough, and so need to find something that functions 100% of the time. So again, we're going to test these slightly shorter cartridges next time after a slight polish of the feed ramp, and see if that doesn't give us 100% functioning. Well, I hope you all have a great Thanksgiving. I thank you for watching, and God bless.